topics.
More entertainment, more news.
Foodies watching movies.
Adulting 80s.
Podcastrophe, the voice of survival.
Kids for sale. Gallif Radio.
Brews with dudes. Journey into wrestling. Journey into Comics Network. JourneyIntoComics.com.
The following.
Journey into Comics.
Journey into
It's a
comics.
journey into comics.
Journey into Comics.
Journey into Comics.
Journey into Comics Network.
Network.
Production.
We're gonna fuck the sodomites in the heritage!
Warning, Podcastrophe imminent. This is Podcastrophe with Dick and Tyler. And Matt. Coming at you with a fistful of heritage on a podcast where anything goes and there are no safe spaces. This is Podcastrophe.
Hey, it's episode 76.
I don't have any energy.
I know. But we got Alex here.
Alex is all the energy.
What up?
Alex.
Am I, though? I'm really not.
You're challenged today.
Alex
thanks
is
for that.
the energy.
I've challenged you to have energy.
Well, it's episode 76. We're here yet another week, and the chat is like already off the hook. It's crazy. Like, we have people from apparently Oregon thinking we're from Oregon. It's like, nope, we're Lafayette, Indiana. Yeah, Andy Ace is like, Indiana? How the hell did I get here?
Well, Andy, I think every one of us in this room asks ourselves that same question every morning when we wake up in this frigid wasteland of a shithole called Indiana.
Alex, you can have my last zombie dust.
Aww. You
I'm
know
kidding.
I love some zombie dust.
I'm kidding. I have one more upstairs.
Oh, thank you, sir.
You know he's got like a little, like this block wall in this basement? Like there's one
Andy
block
says-
that's false.
Andy says, in my defense, I'm high.
That's fair.
That's fair.
That's fair enough.
You can do that there. It's legal there.
But he's got one block that the face is false, and he has to like tap on a certain corner and it pops out. And it's just a frigid case or a 6-pack of fucking zombie dust. It's just ready to rock.
It's been a
Magically
while.
elixir.
It's been a while since I've actually had to buy beer around here, because I've been so stocked up on 450 North beer that I haven't needed to get anything. He's like, now I know why I follow you guys. You're a beer people. Love beer people.
We're beer people.
We are beer people. We
I'm
have
an
another
any
show.
alcohol person.
We have another show on our podcasting network called Brews with Dudes, if you want to check that out.
It's only about beer.
Yeah, it's literally only about beer. Occasionally they'll tangent a lot into other things, but
It's all relevant.
All
All
they
comes
do,
back to beer.
yeah, all they do is taste new beers that they've never had before, and they'll tell you about it. And they don't try to like, it's this hop mixed with
Yeah.
this hop, and it's brewed this way.
This isn't high class
No.
beer society.
They literally taste it. They're like, wow, that's pretty good. This is why it's good.
This is why it's bad.
This is why it's bad. This is why I think it's good.
Indeed.
This is what it tastes like.
And in response to Josh Curry, I disagree. I've had some light beers that are pretty tasty, even though I don't drink light beer. Like Tecate Light. Like Tecate is my staple. If I was gonna die today, I'd be butt chugging some fucking Tecate. Okay?
Butt chugging. All right.
But
Tecate's actually not bad. I don't mind Tecate.
I've never had it.
I mean,
What are you
So-
thinking of this?
it's pretty good. I like it. I think it's pretty plain.
Yeah, it is. Out of their two new distros, this is one of their distros. The other is Fountain of Juice. I still like Fountain of Juice more,
Okay.
but this is
I
pretty good.
obviously haven't had that one either, but
This is pretty good. The story behind me getting this beer, though. So, 2 weeks ago, my middle brother turned 21.
woo woo.
He turned 21. He had a rough night. He was only out for 3 hours on his 21st. He started at Harry's Chocolate Shop.
That's
He started
That's
there.
usually where you end.
That's what I told him.
See, I've always been a big boycotter of Harry's. I just don't like going there.
I've never been there.
I haven't been there since I was like
I just typically-
probably like 23.
I just
but we
typically
used
don't go to
end our
campus.
nights there.
Yeah, that's what everybody's always told me is you end at Harry's.
Stacy and I, my friend Stacy and I were really smart. We would go out to other bars, and it would get to be like 2 o'clock in the morning. We'd go to Harry's. We would eat the free popcorn, and we would scavenge for drinks that people
He loves
ordered
popcorn.
and never drank. So we would
Nice.
just like steal them. Thanks.
Nice.
Yeah, so he went to Harry's, and then I think he went to Brothers, and then he ended his night at the Cactus, where at some point he decided, I'm going to puke and rally. Instead of going to the bathroom and throwing up in a toilet or something in the
God.
privacy of a stall, he finds a trash can and throws up in it, and they're like, hey,
You don't
Get
get
outta
to do that.
get out of here.
Yeah, we don't allow that around here.
So he's like, okay. So next night, my mom visits, and this is the first time everyone's been over here to my new house.
Okay.
And Logan brings 2 4-packs, one of 450 Nugs, one of Payday. He's like, here you go. And I was like, you just turned 21 and you're buying me beer? Good. What a good brother.
I like,
For
I
real,
like this guy.
I'm digging
This
it.
guy's got it figured out. I bring tribute.
Yeah, no, I'm down for that. So, yeah. But other than like him bringing me those beers, which I don't like Payday, so that's for you when you're here.
I like it. I mean,
I don't like it.
It's as flavorful and plain as a generic IPA needs to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's definitely better than Anti-Hero.
Josh Curry says, I always feel like light beers should be sweeter, like it's a soft drink, but don't hate them. They're meant to be pretty plain, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
it's for quantity over quality.
Oh,
kind of thing,
absolutely.
you know?
Absolutely.
You're supposed to not regret the amount of carbs that you intake with a light beer. I mean, that's why there's a
I
light
don't really.
beer.
So last Friday, I think it was last Friday, Miranda and we went to the liquor store. She just wanted some drinks. I wasn't originally going to get anything. I was just going to look at their selection
You're just gonna peruse.
and see what they had there. And I didn't see anything I really wanted. Nothing I wanted to spend more than $5-10 on, which I ended up spending $9 because I went ahead and got some Jack Daniel's watermelon punch. Me and her were gonna get white girl wasted. I don't typically drink that shit unless I'm at a concert and it's like $9 a can.
Man, that one that I got the last concert we went to was nasty.
Really?
Yeah,
The down home punch?
Yeah, I mean it was gross.
I dug that.
Like, remember I gave you guys the one that I bought
Yeah, that's right.
because it was nasty. Miranda said it was gross too.
You know what they call a light beer with alcohol content or high alcohol content? Vodka.
Indeed.
Oh.
That's the way I go for the hard stuff.
Barbie Stacy says, Alex, why are you so quiet?
I am so tired.
We're all tired. This is probably going to end up being a shorter show,
And I
but
think
we'll see
we're
what
all okay with
happens.
that.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
I had a lot of coffee today, and I'm still tired. I think it's the fucking shitty weather.
Yeah. I've just had a rough couple nights of sleep, and I've been getting up at 4 a.m. like every day, doing this team leader shit's really stressing me out and draining me, but
4 a.m.
Gotta
fuck
go.
That shit.
uh,
At 4
sometimes
a.m. I've been asleep 2 hours.
I used to have to be at work at 4 a.m.
I would
so
die. I
Oh, it was
wouldn't. I wouldn't
awful.
die. I'd kill myself. actually.
Sometimes-
I wanted to.
Sometimes I get up at 4 a.m. because I'm going to the gym. Other times I get up at 4 a.m. because Miranda now has to be at work at 4 a.m. So I got to get her kids to the babysitter.
Your
and-
kids.
Yeah, my kids too. My step
The
kids.
kids.
Our children.
Our children. Thanks for correcting me,
You're
I
welcome.
guess. I got to get our kids to the babysitter in Rossville. So I got to, in order for me to be at my place of work on time, I got to get them to Rossville by 5 a.m. So, yeah.
I can't even get myself anywhere on time, let alone children or.
Well, it's weird. Like here lately, especially the last couple months, like I get up relatively around the same time every day. I have to be at work at 6:30, and like the first half an hour, like even like I normally take a shower in the morning. Even if I take a shower, I just blindly stumble around my house. Like I'll have I'm real bad if I don't have like clothes and stuff laid out. My whole fucking morning's fucked up because I can't find anything. Even if I know exactly where it's at, I won't be able to find it. And I have things placed in strategic positions. So I have to charge those headphones that I talked about a minute ago every night. I charge them on my couch because it's got a little charging station in it.
Nice.
If I don't set like my wallet or my knife or my hat by those headphones, I'll forget them every day. Every day.
Oh, yeah.
So like my morning
everything.
routine has to be
Precise.
or it fucks my whole day.
Do you like to look at the amount of alarms I
Oh yeah.
set in the morning?
Mine's exactly the same way.
Yeah,
They're all
there's like 7 of them in
All
there.
right, we comparing
I named
comparing
them
alarms.
different things. Stop snoozing, wake up, bitch. Like, actually get up. Seriously, wake up, dumbass. One's just alarm.
I have 5
One
alarms.
is get your ass up, and one is wake the fuck up.
Mine
So-
they all used to have the same caption, "Get the fuck up, bitch."
And then I have my 12:30 p.m. alarm that says take your medicine so you don't end it all.
I want to give a quick shout out. Josh Curry, who's been in the comments already, he says, "Hey, from the UK, we have somebody in England right now
Hell yeah.
watching us."
That's
So
Thanks for stopping by.
thanks, yeah, thank you so much for stopping by and watching the show. Please subscribe to us by liking the page or subscribing to us on Podbean or iTunes. You'll get a bunch of shit. So, yeah, back to my alarms. I have 4 a.m., 4:10, and those are my, like, I'm getting up at 4 a.m. alarms. And then I got my regular alarms, 5 a.m., 5:15, and 5:20. 5:20 is my, you got to get out the fucking door.
My alarms all have to be set like 3 minutes apart. And as Skylar just put in the comments, I don't listen to any of them.
Same.
They will not wake me up.
My alarms are mostly, like, okay, 1 or 2 of them are for me to wake up. The rest of them are just, like, waypoints for my
To
day.
let you know
like, where I should be
where you-
at
yeah.
in my morning.
So I've
No,
got
not me.
4:40, 4:57, 5, 5:05, 5:25, 5:35, 6. If I'm not up by the last one, I'll be late.
Yeah.
And the last one, if I'm not moving around my house when that last alarm goes off, I'm already late for work.
Oh, yeah.
So
I just put on pants and I go to work.
Mine just
I pee.
depend.
I pee and I brush my teeth,
that's good.
throw on some deodorant.
Hopefully,
I go to work.
yeah.
It's bad.
Speaking of brushing your teeth, like we're all young,
Adults.
hardworking professionals
Oh, yes.
and adults.
Indeed. I mean,
those-
technically, yes.
Yeah.
I'm an adult.
The other day, Skylar and I were at the grocery store, and like, not 2 hours before we went to the grocery store, I saw a commercial for a new toothpaste,
Yeah.
and I've been dealing with some tooth sensitivity because I've been so stressed out lately, so I'm clenching my jaw in my sleep. So I bought sensitive toothpaste like 3 weeks ago. It's expensive. It hardly fucking works. It's nasty. Normally, I'm an Arm & Hammer toothpaste guy.
Colgate.
Like, well, I used to be Colgate. I go through phases.
Do you remember Tourette's guy?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Remember when he called the Colgate customer service?
Yes.
Yes.
I bought your Colgates. I bought your bought your Colgate.
Can't even fucking say it.
The one with tartar control, and it made me feel like a piece of shit.
So I saw this new
love it so
I saw
much.
this new Colgate commercial that was like all toothpaste is like all-in-one toothpaste.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime you have a whitening agent in your toothpaste, it counteracts any of the tooth sensitivity agents. Like whitening toothpaste makes your teeth more sensitive. It's fucking science. So, like, having it all in one has always been a gimmick. But Colgate has this new toothpaste out that's legitimately all in one. Like, there's whitening agents. There's like 10 times the amount of sensitivity agents to counteract the whitening agent. There's all this other shit. So I was like, I saw that commercial, and it was fucking capitalism in its finest.
So it is Colgate.
It's Colgate. Oh yeah, I saw
Oh,
this.
yeah.
I saw this
yeah.
fucking commercial, and I had to have this toothpaste.
Oh shit!
like
it reeled you in.
we
Yeah,
walked.
That's such an adult thing.
We walked in fucking Meijer, and the first thing we did was went and hunted down this fucking toothpaste. Like, nope, You get a cart. Ruby and I are going to the toothpaste aisle because I have to get this toothpaste.
So while we're on the subject of like super mundane adult things, did you see Mucinex has an all-in-one now?
Yes.
Wow.
I have
Mucinex.
not.
Remember when the Mucinex commercials were like mildly funny? Yeah.
Check me out, I'm a Mucinex guy, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, that was probably
was
the
like-
best impression.
It was like Joe
Sup.
Pesci and Danny DeVito like fusion danced and became one thing. That was the Mucinex
Yes.
snot block.
Yes. Thanks, Josh Curry.
Yeah, thank you
Liked
very
and subbed.
much. We appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
Share it around too if you don't mind.
Yeah, I remember like the biggest thing. So I've always been a big Mucinex guy.
Okay.
Like it's always really helped me.
I'm a big Sudafed guy, but go ahead.
I've Sudafed works like a fucking charm too, especially
I like
if you're
mixing them.
mixing Sudafed with what?
Mucinex.
Oh,
Getting
I'm
Not-
not making meth.
he's not making meth, folks.
I'm not making meth.
Not making meth.
I'm making my body be less awful.
But I remember, so like I've always been a big Mucinex guy, and I've always been like at the store looking at the selection of Mucinex, like, all right, which one best fits my concerns? Now they have all in one, and it
Yeah.
includes pain relief.
Well,
So you don't have to take the Tylenol with it.
Sudafed's had the pressure plus pain for a while, and
For $20, it better be all in fucking one.
well, if you buy the generic, it's $6, and it actually has more active ingredients
Really?
than the name brand stuff. But for a long time, like the Mucinex D, like their maximum
You mean
strength.
DM?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're A bomb of Mucinex. Like it's the sodium
Episode title.
It's the sodium
Write
bomb
it
that the
down.
Russians dropped in Siberia. As far
the
as
Sarbamba?
yeah, sure.
Sure, no, it is. It's
Yeah.
the largest nuclear device ever exploded.
So that
Exploded.
I would take Sudafed pressure plus pain and the Mucinex DM Max to the point I would take it twice as often as I was supposed to. So it literally got to the point where there was just it wasn't even like snot anymore at that point. It was just water constantly running out of my nose.
Good.
And there's been a couple times the last couple years where that is the only way that I can get over a cold. Like drinking a case of water a day and literally just doing a sinus purge. So, but yeah,
Demons be gone.
we're not being paid to advertise for Mucinex
No.
or Sudafed. But,
I wish we were.
Oh,
but
we
hey,
could be.
we're looking at you. Cut us a check because we just sold at least 5 suburban mothers and a guy living in a trailer park some Mucinex and Sudafed.
And a guy from the UK.
Yes.
Cheers. Andy A says Mucinex liquid tastes like a small batch IPA in Oregon. I don't know. I can't confirm that, but
The
you
liquid
seem
is
to be the
pretty
expert
gross.
on.
Andy
liquid is-
also said earlier that nothing wakes you up like a good bender, vomit, and rally.
I agree.
I mean, it's true. Been there.
Like you get your full on second wind after you've had your second wind. So you shouldn't even be alive at that point, but you vomit and you're like, wow, I didn't know that I was here. But I am.
It has restored me.
Yeah. It's like eating this fucking senzu bean.
Do you feel this right now? This energy that we're giving. This is cool because we were all dead, and now we're talking.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're
And
feeding off
it's
each
it's
other.
really cool. It's really cool
I
how
love
you
that.
can
This
feed.
is symbiosis.
Yeah, symbiosis. Fuck you, Tyler. No, it's really cool how like you can be just so dead and drained, and all it takes is like one good conversation, or and then all of a sudden you're perked up and you're having a good time. It's mental stimulation, and I think that's awesome. That's really great when that can happen. Like I
Just at the drop of a hat, too. It's totally spontaneous.
oh yeah, that's why when I'm at work I hang around Brandon a lot because.
When he's ready to talk, he'll talk.
Well, so and there's some times where I'm just like where he's just not talking, and I'm just standing by him waiting, and he just keeps looking at me like, "Hey man, what you doing over here?" I'm like, yeah, that's what I look like, 'cause I'm just standing there,
Just waiting for you to talk.
I'm just standing there, and
All right, you
like
fucking
I'll
creep.
pop in on him and Mike, and he'll be like, what's up? I'm like, nothing, man. Just waiting, just joining the podcast.
Just listening.
Just listening to the podcast is what I tell him, because it's the way he talks. It's like a mini podcast.
Well,
And
all of us have been doing podcasts long enough that if we're having an in-depth conversation, that's essentially what we're doing. It's just not being recorded.
Josh says, this Sudafed chat is what I subbed for. Keep it up. Kissy face. Hell yeah.
And Andy Ace says, yeah, you guys are rocking. You're welcome. Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah, so, like, I'll just hang out. Like, especially now that I'm being, like, team leader for, like, the next 3 months.
Right.
Like, I by the way, I have email access. They gave me an email
Whoa.
login. Oh, yeah. I can get on the
Company
computers
man.
now.
Moving
I can log on to the computers and check, like, the production notes to see why we're down, or, like, what's going on out in trim shop. And I can look at the numbers, like, oh, are we close to being done? refresh. Is the number changed? But I also have email, so I've been emailing, like, my buddies that are team leaders, like Torres.
Like Torres.
He texted me the other day because apparently he somehow found out that I touched the Cobra,
Oh, no.
because one of our robot techs told me how to change the pressure on it, and all it took was up or down, up or down. It's like, you either go up or you go down. It's like, that's all you got to do,
It's
dude.
very complex.
I'm like, all right, I can do this. He's like, yeah, that way you don't got to bug Aaron or me. He's like, don't let Aaron know I told you that, because he'll probably get pissed. He doesn't like people touching his robots.
It's
No.
Cobra.
That's the Cobra.
Specifically the Cobra.
The Cobra.
Has the Cobra claimed its first victim yet?
No, not yet.
Damn it.
Cameron's still alive.
Back to what you were talking about with the, like, re-energizing and whatnot. Like,
Yeah.
A lot of people get drained by other people, but I'm the opposite.
Oh, no,
Like,
absolutely. I can do
if
both.
I'm by myself, I'm just, like, dead. But if I get around people, that's when I start getting hyped up.
It takes a very particular type of person to drain me. I mean, I'm very
Same.
We know
I'm
a
very-
couple.
Yes, I'm very comfortable working by myself, especially if I have, small electronic devices to keep me satisfied. You don't know what I mean by that. I might be talking about a pocket
Bullet.
rocket. You
Bullet.
don't know, but
I was talking about a bullet
I am a magic bullet.
Up his butt.
Yep, all the time.
all the time.
It's buzzing on setting 11 right
Oh,
now.
God,
It's the
you
only
know.
thing keeping me alive.
Setting 11. Shit.
Damn.
I was trying to say it's the only thing keeping me alive, and I said it's the only thing keeping me 11. But yeah, like, I think everyone in this room knows that I have the ability to be an extremely judgmental person,
What?
No.
which has gotten better. But
Aw, look at you.
it's along the same lines of, like,
Andy says Hitachi for the win.
yes, if you are draining me mentally, you are going out of your way to do it now at this point.
Same.
And there's been a few people that I work with that there's two specific people, and I have confronted one of them about it. Like, man, you just gotta relax. Like, you don't have to ask a million questions. Just do the task that's laid out for you, and then go home. Like, you don't have to over-engineer or re-engineer and over-analyze. Like, I get it. I used to be that way. Just fucking breathe, man.
Yeah.
And, like, he doesn't get it. He's telling people behind my back that I'm fucking arrogant. Like, I'm sure that I can be that way, and I used to be arrogant, but I'm not. Like, especially, I enjoy the job that I'm doing. I just want to do my work and go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think all of us just want to go to work and go home. Whether
Absolutely.
we enjoy our job or not. I mean, I get a lot of satisfaction out of the job that I do now. And I mean, for that matter, I did while I was at Subaru too, because of the group of people that I was around.
Yeah.
But man, if you are fucking draining me, you are doing something wrong.
Right. Same. And you know, I get drained just because of the type of work that I do.
Right.
But it's still like I love my job and I love the people I work with and I love what I do. But yeah, if you're really, really draining me, like specifically, then you're trying hard.
Oh yeah, you're pushing all the wrong buttons on purpose.
Yeah,
That's the way that I look at it.
I mean,
myself-
and anybody who knows me really well knows that I can pretty much get along with about.
Oh yeah,
anybody.
absolutely.
So.
I myself, so I teeter between introvert and extrovert. I'm
Definitely the happy medium.
I'm an introverted extrovert, and I'm an extroverted introvert. Absolutely. What you doing there? Popping up?
I'm trying to go like
Old
half
dad's
speed.
leaning back.
Oh yeah,
Just
he's
trying to
he's
go, like,
he's quarter
half speed.
chub. He's quarter chub on the dad chair.
Well, I'm quarter chub all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, so I'm that happy medium, as you said. I'm the perfect happy medium where sometimes I need, in order to charge the batteries, I need to be left the fuck alone. And sometimes in order to get a little pep in my step, I need a good conversation with some good people.
Well, there's been times, especially when I worked at Subaru,
Some good social energy.
that because I love to talk.
Yeah.
When there was a few times you looked at me and you're like, man, I don't have it in me to have the level of conversation that you want to have.
I know. You'd be like, there would be times we'd be working together and be like, so you're not talking today? I'd be like, I don't know what you want to talk about. Or you'd be like, are you going to like it'd be an hour into working together. Are you going to fucking talk to me or what? I'm like, not with that attitude.
Asshole.
You rethink your attitude, mister.
You better drop that if you want me to talk to you.
Right. But, yeah, you are definitely the happy medium.
Yeah. And
If there's good conversation, you're in it. If it's not worthwhile, you are just content with being in your own brain.
Yeah, I exist. There are some people that just don't understand that wavelength.
Well, they think that you're being an asshole just
Yeah.
because you don't want to talk.
Or they think that they're not good enough, or
Yeah.
It's rough. Like Miranda, my wife, for those listening, she doesn't get sometimes that I need to be alone and I need to be left in my own headspace, which lately hasn't been very much of an issue. I've been kind of riding that social wavelength for a little while, but no, she just doesn't understand that, and it's tough explaining that to her, that like in order for me to like recharge and get my energy back from all the other draining activities of the day, I just need to be left alone.
You got to isolate.
Yeah.
I know, like you said a minute ago, that you struggle being drained when you're by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of on the teeter-totter in between, where I really like to be by myself, but there's a happy medium where if I'm by myself for too long, then I spiral the wrong direction.
And I absolutely need some alone time.
Oh yeah, everybody does.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
I think especially
I need it.
our generation doesn't acknowledge the fact that
You
we
don't have to be with somebody all the time.
As a species, we rely on other human interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we need it. But you also need to be cognitive of the fact that you don't have to be fully self-sufficient all the time, but you have to be able to detach from all the shit that's going on, because otherwise you're going to get wrapped up in it, and then you're going to be in situations that are out of your control just so you can be around other people.
And, some people just don't know how to be alone with themselves.
Right.
And their thoughts, and they're like, okay, I don't want to think about this. They get too much into their own head, and they can't deal with that. So they're like, okay, I need to be around people, and that's how you get into, like, really dependent relationships with people, whether it be romantic or friendship or otherwise.
Yeah, people, I've had pretty good debates with people about that, where normally I'm on the spectrum where things are black and white, or at least I am for a lot of issues. It either is or it is not. But
the head on this is just insane, because
that's what she said.
I just barely poured a little bit in.
Thank you
and
for
it's
the
just
giggle. I appreciated that. But I'm a lot of times I'm very, very steadfast in it is either this way or it is not, and that's obviously not always the case. But I've had like knockdown, drag out arguments with people about us having the ability to be alone.
It's an important skill that a lot of people don't have.
Well, and a lot of people are in denial about the fact that over time and through conscious decisions and trying to get yourself in that mindset that it's achievable. A lot of people just, especially our generation, are like, well, I can only function around other people.
Well, because people are connected to each other constantly. You
Right.
have a phone.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
That's been barely pouring in.
I
saw
know.
ya.
But
It's
yeah,
like,
like
a
they're
science fair
connected.
volcano.
They're connected constantly on your phone or just whatever. And so being alone, even when you're sitting by yourself talking to somebody.
Could you imagine living in the early 20th century where you actually had to go speak to people?
I mean, actually, yeah, because I'm good with that.
Right.
But
I mean, we all have the ability to survive, I guess, in a social climate.
Yeah,
But
we're in this really cool in between where we experience both technology and before
Right.
serious technology. We grew up in the age in between the age of communication, which is where we're at now, and the age of
analog.
analog.
Is
Yeah,
what I- is
yeah,
what-
I
is
like
what
that.
I
I
call
like
it.
that term.
Did you guys, I mean, you guys are a little bit older than me. Did you guys have to take typing classes when you were in elementary school?
I
Yeah, a
remember
little bit.
doing typing.
Do
A
you
little bit.
remember, like, this is a computer, this is how you use it? I mean, do you guys remember doing that shit?
Very little.
Yeah.
Kids don't do that now.
The most I did on
Because
computer
they
was
are
Math Blaster and
before-
Oregon Trail.
Yes!
Yes.
Hell yeah!
Okay. Like,
I loved.
that-
Oh, there was one.
Oregon
it was
Trail
like
5.
spelling and what was that called? I'm gonna look it up.
But like, okay, so all those like interactive learning games, that was how the teachers and the administration came up with to get us exposed to technology on a grander scale, because a lot of it still wasn't affordable. So with government budgets and things like that, let's put some of this technology in schools. Let's get all these kids exposed to it. How do we get them? How do we get them excited about this technology?
Yeah.
Which to a lot of like 7, 8-year-old kids, oh, that just looks like a TV. It looks like. Well, what was our generation starting to be obsessed with? Video games.
Yes.
You fucking make interactive video games.
You could play Mortal Kombat with your guy in Vietnam.
Sure.
I can't remember the exact quote. It's
But-
Cable Guy.
Oh, man, I
But you know what
forgot
I'm
about
saying.
this
I mean,
game.
like,
Sorry, I'm looking up 90s computer.
no, you're
games.
fine. But that was how they got us engaged in it. Otherwise, it would have been even more difficult than it already was. Like, what the fuck's this magic picture box? Brandon Stone, if he listens to this, he would appreciate the magic picture box comment. But now kids don't have to do that. Like, we are very strict with Ruby as far as, like, not the amount of TV that she watches, but now we don't, like, turn the TV on and just let her watch it. Like, we are watching it, and then when we're done watching it, it's not just her sitting on the couch, like, staring at the box or the screen, But she already knows how to use a cell phone. She's 2.
Yeah.
She knows how to use the iPad. She's
Yeah.
2. And we don't let her, we don't just plop the iPad in her hands and put her in the corner and then forget about her like a lot of parents do. And she fucking knows how to do it already. So I don't know. It's crazy.
Well, like we weren't exposed to technology that early on in our
Right.
development, but they have. But
They don't have an option.
one, they don't have an option. 2, the younger you are, the more able you are to grasp onto new
Right.
things. Like your mind's developing at that rapid of a pace that you can just grasp onto things. That's why I seriously wish in my early childhood people would have fostered my love of music, because I would have gotten into it way faster. I would be accelerated way beyond where I am now, which is very mediocre.
Well, and I think that's part of the reason. I totally agree, because I think that's part of the reason I struggle with music so much. I have a deep love and appreciation for a lot, and such a broad catalog of music, and I've always had a desire to play music, but I've struggled with it, trying to learn, especially teach myself. I just don't have that. But I mean, now that go back and think about it, I was exposed to hard work and responsibility and accountability and like this is how you make money for yourself. Like,
Yeah.
that was how I was steered. So I didn't have a big appreciation for music when I was a kid because I didn't have it. I didn't really get exposed to music until after I was damaged. You know, that's why
it was there for me.
That's why I have such an appreciation for music, because I was damaged, and at the time that I was damaged, just plug and play. Like, here is how you cope with this trauma. It's music, and that's all you've got. So I totally agree that if, especially in our school systems, and, you know, I've talked about this at length on the show, and I think Alex and I have discussed it on the show before, maybe the first time that she was on the show, but, like, all these public school systems that are cutting, like, their arts programs because of our political climate, and they don't really have an option. You can't pay people if you don't have the budget. You can't buy equipment if you don't have the budget. And, like, teachers buying packs of pencils, like, I've seen some people throw a fit because, well, teachers shouldn't have to provide their own school supplies. They do it because they care about their job. Okay, well, I'm an electrician. I have to buy all my own tools.
Yeah.
You know? I want to buy my own tools. I want to buy the shit that I want. You know?
Absolutely.
I don't want a budget dictating what I work with on a daily basis. And if you said, hey man, what tools should I buy since I own a home now to maintain and renovate my home? I wouldn't say, well, the government budget dictates that this is what you have to spend on a tool. Like, that's dumb. So teachers buying minimal school supplies, that's always been okay to me, because that just shows to me that person cares that much more about what they're doing.
Absolutely.
I feel like almost it should be like you can buy whatever you want, but you only get reimbursed up to this amount or something like that.
Absolutely. I think, you know, education is right, especially in our political climate right now. It's the most important thing that we have. We have education. We have inequalities in America. I would put that at number 2, because if you educate, you don't have as much inequality, because then everyone is being educated at the same level, not standardized test bullshit, actually being educated. Learn it. And actually have people teaching and not just collecting a paycheck.
Yeah, teaching, not just regurgitating knowledge.
Correct. A curriculum that someone else wrote.
Yeah, fuck that. I want teachers that are passionate about what they're teaching. And it's just, you don't get that anymore.
Right.
That's sad.
Well, you don't get that as much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't know. I know he felt about school about the same way that I did. But I vividly remember the teachers that gave a shit, and I explicitly remember the teachers that did not give a shit.
It's really cool that we're talking about this. So I've been going back into the backlog of the Joe Rogan podcast and downloading individual episodes where there's people on there that I want to listen to. And I'm on, I think, the second Neil deGrasse Tyson episode.
His episodes are some of my favorites.
Oh, they're so good. And it's so funny to hear him cuss. It's hilarious hearing him go, what the fuck are you talking about?
Hearing him talk, and I think I know what you're going to bring up. Hearing him talk about education reform.
Yeah, because
it's just mind-blowing.
He says we are all born scientists. We are all born and grow up scientists, but at some point a switch flips, and it's because of our educational system. It's because we don't have people teaching, or
we don't have people, and this isn't what he said, but this is how I'm going to regurgitate it. We have, the seeds have all been planted.
We are naturally
don't have
curious.
People tending the crops.
Kids are naturally curious, and you have to foster that curiosity. Otherwise, it's going to disappear.
You just become a robot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't let me forget. There's more. I don't want to go in detail with Rogan, but don't bring Rogan up again after I finish spieling.
Spiel away.
But so we need to focus on education, with education, we combat a lot of our inequality issues. And then if we focus on education, that nips the inequality in the bud. Then we can focus on, existential issues that affect the entire world. How we continue to propagate our species, whether it's here, whether it's in space, whether we burrow a fucking hole to the center of the planet and then we find, a utopia down there. I mean, we're not going to get to the point where we leave this prison. I look at Earth as a prison for our species.
Mm-hmm.
We have taken, and we take, and we do very little to maintain the already damaged home that we have. We have to look somewhere else. There has to be change on some level, whether that's extreme population control, which I think all of us can agree should not be option number one.
It hasn't worked out very well in the past.
Well, I mean, the Spanish flu did a good job of population control in a very short amount of time.
That's pretty natural.
Well, I'm just saying population control on any level, whether it's man-made, whether it's an act of nature, blah 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 blah. But if you,
There's a trash can right there, or you can put it on the floor.
Yeah, just put it on the floor and I'll throw it in the trash can.
Yeah, we'll get it. It.
But if you look at like popular science fiction, and it's kind of weird to bring this into a serious topic, but if you look at popular science fiction, to have a unified Earth, like in all of these science fiction narratives, like we don't get off of this rock until there is a reason that all of us can kind of band together and then pool knowledge and resources and get the fuck out of here. Right? I mean, would you agree with that?
Yeah.
So we're at that point already with overpopulation, the inability to feed that population, which is a lot more than it should be based on the amount of space that we have, and climate change. Climate change is a real thing, okay? Anybody that says climate change isn't real is very uneducated.
Yeah.
And buying into the wrong political doctrine, okay? Climate change is natural. It's cyclical. It happens no matter what. There are things that speed this process up. So we are a variable. Without us, it's still speeding up on its own. Okay, so as far as you always hear about greenhouse gases and all that bullshit, we contribute to the depletion of the ozone layer, which warms the planet. Like, that is scientific fact. So every man-made thing that puts carbon emissions into the air, depleting the ozone layer and warming the planet because there's more carbon dioxide than oxygen, blah, 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 insulating the planet, is a fraction of just cows.
Yeah.
I
was about to say, farming.
The world's population of cows is like quintuple to the power of 10. What's even bigger than that is the Earth's natural gas deposits.
Yeah.
Every swamp, every bog, every geyser is constantly putting carbon dioxide, methane, naturally occurring butane, all these gases into the atmosphere 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and has done it since the planet was fucking created.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't control that. That is out of our hands to control. So, yes, minimize your carbon footprint. Every little bit counts to prolonging the amount of time that we have to spend here as a species. We need to be focused on getting
the fuck out,
getting out of here. And we have not had the event on a global level to unite our species to where we're not Americans, we're not Europeans, we're not Africans.
We're just people.
We're just people. We're humans.
Get the fuck out of here.
We need to have
Human.
We need to have that Bill Pullman Independence Day speech.
Yeah.
Which is an epic fucking speech. I love that speech.
I love that movie.
Fucking 97. Hell yeah.
Yeah. God, they ruined that franchise with the second movie, but
I like the second movie. It was not nearly as good.
I don't like Liam Hemsworth, so
Yeah, I never saw it. So.
Okay.
he's
He's a discount Chris Hemsworth.
he's like a Family Dollar version of Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, exactly. and then there's Luke Hemsworth. What is it? Luke Hemsworth?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know him. I can't remember
fuck
what he's
is
been.
that?
There's a
I wasn't
third.
gonna say
There's
like
a third Hemsworth.
There's a third
It's
Hemsworth.
like the younger they get, the more
they're like the Baldwin
insignificant.
brothers. They just keep multiplying. They're all hermaphrodites. They just divide.
Ah.
But I wasn't gonna say like Dollar General, because I fuck with Dollar General. Okay. Like
Okay.
they've got some good quality materials.
And some not so good.
Not good, but if you need a bag of Doritos, hey fam, we got you.
We got
You want some Pop-Tarts that are actually better than name brand Pop-Tarts?
Really?
We got you.
Hey,
Clover Valley provides.
I just want to say my dad works for Frito-Lay, so I got name brand Doritos at any point I want.
That's fair. I mean, generic Doritos are still technically name brand Doritos. They're just packaged different.
But I got PepsiCo, Frito-Lay, fucking Doritos.
I got capitalism's what I got.
Yeah.
My ex's mom works there, so whenever I was with him, she'd send us home with like bags full of chips.
Oh yeah. I
That's
remember
pretty
growing up, my dad would bring back giant boxes full of like the snack size.
We survived.
Bags.
We survived on party flavored snack mix for 6 months.
Party flavored.
Party
What does
flavored.
a party taste like?
The bold and spicy.
The party in your mouth. My mom put on there that I am amazing. Thanks, Mom.
I saw that
We
earlier.
agree that she is
Marilyn
amazing.
Taylor.
That's
my
why she's
mom.
here.
Wow, like it's been quiet for like maybe 10 to 20 minutes.
They got bored
And
with our education
like-
talk.
Andy Ace just pops in. Frito fucking Lays, the best. Y'all never made a Frito pie.
Absolutely, my man.
I'm glad. I mean,
Absolutely.
I've noticed. So on Facebook, it says the viewers have been. It's been like 6 viewers like this entire time. Now it's down to 3
Wonder
now.
who,
But
wonder who it was.
I don't know,
saw a
but
couple
so
of my
we've
friends
had
pop
some-
on there.
we've had some consistent
I saw
viewers, and I
Barbie
like that.
and
That's
Emily.
more than normal.
Right.
And I'm digging it.
It's because
I'm
I'm
digging
here and
it.
I shared it, and I'm.
I
super
appreciate it so much.
popular, So
Fucking Josh Curry's
He's still here.
And Andy.
fucking hanging in there.
You guys, we appreciate you. I wonder if they came from like so we have this new show, Happy Fun Metal Time.
I saw that.
With Nick and Dick, and so Nick is also the host of Brews with Dudes and Dungeons with Dudes. Is it Dungeons with Dudes or Dungeons and Dudes?
Dungeons with Dudes.
With
Okay.
dudes.
So like him sharing something, because he already has the Doom Room and his bands and all this. He's got like so many friends, and he belongs
Nick is
to
the promoter guy.
he is the promoter. So when he shares something, people watch.
It means shit.
It means shit. So like I wonder how many people like got brought over to Podcastrophe just because we did the very first episode of Happy Fun Metal Time.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, is every other Saturday live. Right here on Podcastrophe. Actually, no, it's on the Happy Fun Metal Time. We had it. So we had a Nick and Dick page. And when we decided to just go ahead and do this metal show, I was like, Nick, do you want to just, instead of making a new page, do you want to just repurpose the Nick and Dick page? So we have this page that had like 89 followers. And suddenly they're just being bombarded with real content.
Now you can do like a
For the longest time, it was like maybe Nick and I would take a selfie together every few years.
right. Nick and Dick review household cleaning products. Like just bombard that page with shit like that. Like I can just picture you and Nick sitting around a table, like getting real ASMR with it.
Oh, yeah?
really, really fucking going balls deep on
we-
reviewing a bottle of Palmolive dish soap.
I would love.
Just balls deep. This is
Cecilia Christie says Dungeons with Dudes sounds kinky.
this is Alaskan Mountain Breeze.
Hold on, let me do this. This is Alaskan Mountain Breeze.
You just went like Sir David Attenborough with it, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Well, the whole point of ASMR is to, have this really calm voice. And,
Right. I'm sorry, my voice can't be calm.
Just be relaxed.
I've
and
always inflection.
See, I
It's
can't
got to
do
be a
that.
constant static tone, and it's to relax people.
I've been told that when I try to do that, I sound like I should work for a sex talk line. So yeah, by multiple people who
I have a
don't know
text.
each other.
I have a
so
text from Dave Linder. He goes, "Dick."
Yeah.
That was it.
That was it.
Hi, Dave.
And he says, "My safe word is bourbon barrel aged imperial stout." Have you heard of Dark Lord? It's amazing.
That's a mouthful for a safe word.
Yeah, that's quite a
it's
safe
just
word.
to prolong. It's to get that last
Just to
few
get that
seconds
last
Yes.
little bit in there.
Absolutely.
in. So, as far as I reminded myself, I wanted to keep telling you Rogan stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going through the backlog, which is essentially still what I'm doing, because he's got over 1,000 episodes.
I'm already through all the episodes I want to see or I want to listen to.
Well, you're through all the episodes that you think you want to listen to.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people I don't know.
So there's a guy named Peter Attia.
Okay.
You want to listen to that episode? I watch all of Rogan's episodes because a lot of times people get wrapped up in his, kind of his cadence and like how he does a podcast. People get very hooked on that
Yeah.
because it has a lot of production value. It's very, very good to listen to. But I actually like to see his guests. Like, there's been a lot of guests that he's had on that are spewing bullshit, and sometimes he calls them out on it, sometimes he doesn't. It just depends on the individual. But I like to see how that person is sitting in that chair. Like, if you watch the DeGrasse Tyson episodes,
I haven't seen that one yet.
well, any of them,
There's multiple.
yeah, he's been on that show multiple
Okay.
times.
Okay.
A couple times in the 800s. He's been on the show like 6 times now. But if you actually sit down and like see how enthusiastic he is while he's explaining something to Rogan, or while Rogan is explaining something to him, for me it makes it that much more enjoyable to watch. Now, of course, I like to listen to it because I do it while I'm at work, but Peter Attia is one that you want to listen to. David Goggins.
Yeah, I've seen his pop
all
up.
the ones that he's been on. Watch all of them.
So, the ones I downloaded, obviously Neil deGrasse Tyson.
You really dug the Paul Stamets.
Paul Stamets, I dug the hell out of that one.
It's one of my favorites.
Because I learned a lot about mushrooms, which I have never experienced. I now want to a lot.
It's very good.
And I'm talking about
There's
some
a lot of
some
research
silly
done on
mushrooms.
those, so
I want to try some silly mushrooms.
Have you listened to the Paul Stamets Rogan?
I have not.
Do it. You learn a lot about mushrooms.
Listen,
Like,
well,
I already know a lot about
you
them.
just
broadly.
well, you learn a lot about how psilocybin affects our brain chemistry, which is incredible.
I've done a lot of reading on stuff
Mm-hmm.
because I'm always looking, because I have like really bad depression, and so I'm always looking at like new age things and studies on that kind
Yes.
of
Well,
shit.
and the FDA is now considering using psilocybin mushrooms.
Yes.
They've like let people do a lot of research on that, like studies and whatnot,
which is big for us.
it's huge.
Because I'm a conservative guy with a lot of things, but like you have the FDA like taking some stigma away from something that
That's awesome.
that the conservative right and conservative left, because that is a thing people don't realize, but those two government parties have been controlling since the 50s.
Yeah, the media. I was gonna say the media. It's all been propaganda for marijuana, LSD,
Right.
psilocybin, any of that shit. So anything that's psychedelic, but it's gotten this bad stigma around it. It's gonna make you go crazy and whatnot. But
which it does.
actually,
It does have the
if it's done improperly. Obviously, I mean that's pretty much any sort of mind altering substance. I mean, I have medication in my bag right now. I have Wellbutrin. If I took a bunch of that, I'd be fucking fucked up or dead.
Right.
Anything can have that effect, and too much or not done properly.
And if you listen to Paul Stamets, he does a really good job of explaining.
Yeah, he really did.
Like, so that's kind of the negative connotation. Well, if I have a bad trip on psilocybin mushrooms, I'll never come back from that. There is, it's actually broke. I don't remember where he pulled the study from, but after I listened to his episode, I went and looked it up. There is, of every human being on this planet, there is a statistical number assigned based on your genetic makeup, how predisposed to schizophrenia you are. Every living person on this planet. So whether it's early onset, whether it's, mature onset, anywhere in between, doing psilocybin or any psychedelic has a percentage chance of taking wherever you're at in your life cycle and making that early onset schizophrenia.
But you are going to get it anyway.
Exactly.
If that's the case.
And that's what, Rogan just kind of sat there mouth agape while Stamets was explaining that. And that was something that, until I heard Stamets talk about it, that I didn't realize, that every living person on this planet has a chance of being schizophrenic.
Yeah, and it's predisposed, and it usually sets between like 18 and 26. It's more predominant in males. Usually if you make it past the 30-year-old mark, you're pretty golden.
Right.
So I'm about to be 30 in April, so not schizophrenic, guys.
Let's see what happens there.
Yeah.
But
Unless I go crazy in 2 months.
But hearing him talk about that and actually going and looking at that research, because it's public accessible, so it was really good to actually read all that data. I mean, it was just profound.
Yeah.
Because, especially now we're to the point where mental health is important to our generation. When we were kids, if you heard about so-and-so being schizophrenic, well, that guy's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that was the connotation put to it. It was so negative.
So negative.
And, that was really the extent of it. Now, with psilocybin mushrooms specifically, if you don't become schizophrenic after you do it, the ability that chemical compound has to rewire your brain and fix it
Neurogenesis
is fucking incredible.
Yeah. That's why I want to try it.
Like the way that it makes sense in my head is
I don't want to see all the pretty colors. I don't care about the trip.
It's one of the women in the 50s that was sitting in one of the big operator booths plugging different phone lines in. Like that's all your synapse is firing. You put psilocybin in your body and it's like, well, you don't like thunderstorms.
It's optimizing things.
I'm going to
correctly.
unplug this, which makes you not like thunderstorms. And I'm going to plug this in over here, which means you don't give a shit about thunderstorms anymore. And now we're better. We have evolved our consciousness.
That's awesome.
We are being better.
That's absolutely awesome.
Why would we not pursue that?
And I mean, they're starting to look into all sorts of different psychedelic substances.
Like I said.
Like DMT, all that shit.
Yeah, like I said.
That's
Hey,
crazy.
bro, have
Ever
you guys
done
tried
DMT?
Like I said, I don't care about the trip. I want to see what it can do to my brain. I want to see what...
You want to see the after effects.
I want to see where it can take me, not... Oh, whoa,
Well,
bro.
and the thing is,
Scooby-Doo.
too many people do it as a party
Wow,
drug.
did we
and,
just do 2 memes?
That's
What
whatever.
happened to the Shaggy meme? I'm kind of glad it's over.
Bring it back.
It was like 1 week.
Not
Even a week. It
as
was
soon
like
as the Super
3
Bowl hit,
days.
it was all the Adam Levine.
I tried to keep it alive for the next couple days. I shared one that was Fred. It was it was Freddie Prinze Jr. And he's like, the first day that I walked on set, I knew that I was gonna suck Scooby-Doo's dick.
I saw that.
like that was the peak for me. Like, you got
Not
it.
gonna
The
get
peak for
better
me
than
is
this.
like all these people petitioning to have Shaggy in Mortal Kombat,
Kombat.
which supposedly they got through. I don't know if that's confirmed or not,
hope
but
so.
if it is confirmed, I will buy Mortal Kombat 11.
I'm buying Mortal Kombat 11 anyway.
Well, I know Miranda loves Mortal Kombat. I am not a Mortal Kombat person. I am not a fighting game person.
As you bought Smash Bros.
I did that because, well, it's just like a fun party game. Whatever.
Anyway.
And, like,
I
this
suck at it. I
nostalgic
really,
shit.
really suck at it.
I'm
Like
terrible
life,
too.
but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's why you want to do psilocybin mushrooms, so you don't suck at life anymore.
I don't want to suck anymore. I want to do better.
More than 30%.
I don't know about
You're gonna
that.
use 33% of your power.
I've been running on about 45 to 65 the last couple weeks.
Wow, pal.
I know it's been crazy and I'm exhausted.
Actually try. Like, whoo, I am tuckered out. I've been doing stuff.
I am seriously waiting for that Zenkai boost.
Yeah. You gotta approach death before you can get that. But back to serious mushroom talk. Hearing, like, one of the reasons I really put a lot of faith in Paul Stamets is, like, he is the fungus guy.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what he studies.
there are very few people on this earth that are approachable enough and have the same level of Paul Stamets as far as knowledge goes that he can speak to you and you can understand what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah.
Because when you, like, people don't realize, like, ooh, there's mold in my house, or ooh, there's mushrooms growing in my yard. Like, there is fungus. There is more fungus on everything than there are bacteria.
There's
Like,
spores everywhere.
Bacteria can't survive. Life cannot survive
He just changed 3 times.
without fungus.
Bacteria, life.
I mean, we're just big bacteria. We're just a collection of bacteria.
Yeah.
I mean,
Some of us more than others, but
right.
yeah, all
let's
of
get
us.
DMT with it. Like, let's just be profound.
Oh, let's get
I'm a
deep.
giant amoeba.
Whoa.
But like if you listen to that episode with Stamets, he talks about if you break down a woodland ecosystem from the soil to the root of the trees to every cell in that tree, glucose exchange, creating glucose to feed the plant, blah 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 blah, photosynthesis, oxygen, carbon dioxide, all that. Like, it is all hinging on the fact that there are certain breeds of fungus that attach to the roots of these giant trees, and then symbiosis with that tree. They survive, the tree survives, they die, the tree dies, another fungus comes in and cleans it all up. And then more trees come up after that. And it is the perfect cycle. Why don't we talk about that? We learned about the fucking mitochondria being the powerhouse of the fucking cell. It's a powerhouse. Powerhouse. But like we don't ever talk. I mean, not that we don't ever. We briefly touch on in biology and higher level science in school about how fungi or fungi or however you want the fungus among us, how pivotal and important it is in the entire world's ecosystem.
Yeah, I don't remember shit about that.
No, very very little.
No,
It's
they don't
barely
teach you that at
touched
all.
on.
It's one of the kingdoms of life.
Mold is bad. It'll kill you.
Don't breathe it in.
It'll make you sick. That's it. That's
Dude,
pretty much it.
I'm gonna tell you right now. So my little water jug my water thermos that I bring to work every day.
You ain't been cleaning it, have you?
I clean it like once every 2 weeks, and like it's not even that. Sometimes it's like I'll just get curious and look inside of it, like, oh wow.
Wowee.
Oh, wowie.
That's what one of my fellow team leaders says whenever I bring something up to him. I'll show him like a defect, and he'll be like, oh, like it's something from his team, and he'll be like, oh wow.
It's all right, Jimmy.
Yeah, I'm talking about Jimmy.
I knew immediately. You're talking
wow.
about Jimmy. I miss Jimmy.
Jimmy's a good guy.
Jimmy's such a good dude.
Such a good dude. But no, I'll just be like, oh wow, and then I'll maybe go a few more days and then finally clean it.
Andy Ace says only the black mold, which is racist. Preach it, my man. Sometimes it really do be like that.
I'm really glad we have people like Andy and Josh in our chat right now, because like we don't typically have this. Normally we have people we know that's
It's
just
usually me.
It's usually you,
My wife,
or it's
Micah.
your wife,
Either of your wives.
or Micah talking shit about how you eat a lot.
Oh, yeah,
Which I
I've
don't,
I've seen
but-
that guy a lot.
I mean, that's kind of his shtick.
So a couple more of the Joe Rogan episodes I've listened to recently. Nick Swardson, that was just super chaotic. It was
I
funny.
guarantee. Yeah,
it was
obviously.
funny though.
Listen to the Pauly Shore one.
That's the one I was going to name next. I listened to that. That was really a really good episode because you really get to dive into Pauly Shore, which you don't get an opportunity to very often. You see his characters.
Which, when we were all kids in the 90s, we really appreciated that guy.
Oh,
and
hell
all
yeah.
the characters that he portrayed. I mean, he was fucking big when we were kids.
He was.
And he just fucking tanked.
It's because of in the army now.
Well, yeah.
No, and that's what he says in the show.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like, they made me cut my hair, and yeah.
Remember when Andy Dick was popular?
Oh, fuck him.
Right.
I've never liked Andy Dick.
But I didn't either.
No,
but
okay,
he,
I
but
say
he
that-
basically
For
had
a
the
second.
same career.
I say that, but anytime I see Andy Dick in a movie, I'm like, and he says something funny, I laugh my ass off. But I hate Andy Dick at the same time.
Right.
No,
You can
Pauly
laugh at
Shore
him
was
and
like,
hate him.
it was really interesting to hear this part of the show where he was like, 'cause I guess Joe asked him if he was happy now, like, or something along those lines, and Pauly Shore was like, no, man, like, I wish it was still then because I was just not because I was famous or anything. I was just having so much fun, and everything's just so real now. Isn't that such a teenager thing to say or a 20s thing to say?
But
Oh, yeah.
but it's a good representation
Yeah.
of where we're at in society. Like, we are so unprepared for adult life when we become adults that it's like, and I'm sure you see it now that you're a parent. I see it every day when I see Ruby playing and enjoying what she's doing. Like, not just the innocence and the naivety about how cruel the world is, but it's like, my daughter is happy every day. Every day.
She doesn't know true unhappiness.
She doesn't know how to be sad. If she hurts herself, it's very fleeting.
Oh yeah,
You know, or
everything's fleeting.
if I have to raise my voice, or the occasional spanking or timeout or whatever discipline,
Doesn't dwell.
like, it's very fleeting. Like, I'll just go play with my toys and be happy, or I'll sit in the chair with Dad and watch a movie. Like, it's happy all the time, and it's hard for me sometimes to watch it because I was unhappy for so long, and I was so depressed, and you couple crippling anxiety with crippling depression and high speed life. Like, we all understand this,
Yeah.
all too well.
and you're trapped in the hamster wheel that when you stop running, the fucker keeps spinning.
And then you hit your head.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then you
my
get
God.
and then you
Yeah.
get the fuck beat out of you by life. And then, you learn and you become calloused, but I mean, the issues are still there. They don't get fixed until you try and fix it. But it's hard for me to watch her. Like, for a long time it was hard for me to see other people happy because I was so miserable, and the only way that I was happy was making other people happy.
Yeah.
Like, you and I have talked about this before. You understand that. But yeah, it's so precious. A children's happiness. And when I was listening to Pauly Shore say that was the only thing I could think of. Like, man, he was just a big kid.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, he was just a big, happy kid.
All right. Can I share a quick anecdote in parenting?
It's
This
your
happened
show.
literally last night.
Go ahead.
So this might make me look bad. I don't care.
You always look bad.
So last night I just think it's funny. I told Cameron this today and he just laughed his ass off.
Well,
like,
he is like a big dumb
well,
Pauly Shore.
this Cameron was like, that's fucking gold. Like, there's like a negative side to this story, and that's all on me. But so Maverick, my stepson, Nazira is at the kitchen table doing her homework. Kindergartner.
Isn't
and
it
has-
fucking sad that kids have homework
So
that
I
young?
had zero homework in kindergarten. Zero. She has like tons of homework, and I don't get it. But I feel like that's just been growing over the years as I've gotten older. But anyway, so Maverick comes out of his bedroom wearing a Deadpool mask that I gave him and a sock and bopper on one hand, and he's fisting a balloon in the other. Like,
I thought you were going to say he had the Infinity Gauntlet on.
No, he's palming, not fisting. I've been saying that wrong all day. he's palming a balloon. I wish it was the Infinity Gauntlet. Now you're saying something. But he comes out of his room and goes, ah! And he just full charges into the fucking dining room and then kitchen. And he, like, charges into the kitchen table like a chair or something. Like, I don't know if you couldn't see or whatever, but in my head, like, dad mode kicked on. I'm like, settle the fuck down. I didn't say settle the fuck down, but I said settle down. I was like, knock it off, settle down, calm down, something along those lines. And I was, and then I didn't hear him for a little bit, so I'm like, okay, what's he up to? So I go in. I don't see him anywhere.
Make sure he's not bleeding from the ears.
So I don't know where he's at. I go into our quote unquote master bedroom or bathroom. Miranda's she's taking a bath. She's relaxing. I'm letting her relax.
Stuff.
I'm letting her relax. She doesn't get that very often. So I go into our quote unquote master bathroom, which has no bath in it or anything, and it's dark. And I just know Maverick's hiding somewhere. So I turn on the light. No, I didn't even turn on the light. I just look behind the door, and there he is. And he just starts crying. Like he's in trouble. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you're not in trouble, but just calm down. And he just looks at me, and this is his thing. Whenever he's in trouble or he's not getting his way,
You're
he goes,
being mean.
no, I don't like you. That's what he says. And I've been trying to break him of that. Because it's like, you just can't just go around, I don't like you, just because you're not getting your way.
Mm-hmm.
And so he said that to me. Like, he's crying, and I'm like, dude, just calm down. He goes, I don't like you. So I flicked him right on the arm.
Good.
I just flicked him. He just... like,
try to go Super Saiyan?
No, he didn't try to go Super Saiyan, but like in my head, this is my rage at my reaction in my head. This is fucking pure rage. But he just starts, ow, 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 like he's pissed at me, and I'm like, dude, just really
be better.
But no, so I told this story today, and Joe was around, of course, and I told him about the flip. And he starts, I think it was either Joe or Cameron, and that one of them went to flip, but they did it with their index finger. And I'm like, and I noticed that, I'm like, dude, you don't flick somebody with your index finger. There's no power behind that.
You get maximum power.
You get maximum power
spring
from your middle finger. And I taught someone something today. As dumb as that sounds. Yeah, that's my little anecdote.
I've done that to Ruby before.
And parenthood.
I flicked her right on the back of the leg.
So Maverick was doing roughly same bullshit. Not exactly he was acting up, and he was on the couch, and he just made like a mean face at me, and that's what he does when he's not getting his way or he's getting pissed off, and he just like scrunches his face off in the most pissed off look, and I'm like, oh hell no. So I flicked him. Where does that flick land? Right on his temple.
Oh, good.
And he's 5 years old. That's not good.
Yeah, that's a good place to flick somebody.
I immediately felt like terrible, and Miranda was like, hey, dude, like, I know, like, okay, but not on his temple. And I'm like, it's just where it landed.
I didn't mean to.
Collateral damage.
Yeah. Derek Evan Relaford. I get mad at my kids when they get hurt, because it's usually their fault. My instant reaction is, I told you to stop that, instead of, are you okay? I'm working on it. No. That's a common theme. Is like, instead of going to, are you okay? It's just like,
well, I told you to stop.
Your inner Red Foreman comes out. And, dumbass.
I say it all the time.
No, it's okay. Like, I feel like that's just the natural reaction is, dumbass.
I just,
because you warn them.
Well, I mean,
because you know better.
Derek's comment is like nail on the head for a lot of us, but I think that's part of the problem too. There is a happy medium that every parent has to find between, I told you not to make that mistake. Now you need to be accountable for that mistake.
Yes.
And are you okay? Are you hurt? Blah, 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 blah. You have to find that happy medium.
Yeah,
between
where
accountability
you
Are you
can
okay?
nurture.
But this is also a
you can show them
teachable
that you
lesson.
care, but at the same time, you got to show them that, like, hey,
Should have listened to me.
you should have listened. I know better. I'm the adult. I know better for the most part.
But I think it's a very conscious decision, and it takes time to find that middle ground. Because this is one of those things where I think it's black or white. You're either, I told you not to fucking do it, or are you okay, and coddle.
oh,
A lot of our generation are the way they are because they got the coddle instead of the Red Foreman dumbass. I got strictly the Red Foreman dumbass, which,
I didn't
nature
get-
versus
I didn't get
nurture, we're all
either.
products of our environment, blah, 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 blah.
I didn't get either. I don't want to say I was perfect, but I didn't get in trouble.
Well, I didn't get in trouble.
And
either.
I didn't do anything to get any stern reactions. I just knew better.
I was just mouthy. That's my biggest
And-
Me
thing.
too.
And like
Imagine that.
Right.
Us mouthy.
Yeah.
Never.
a lot of people can just say, "Oh yeah, I just knew better," but no, not a lot of people can actually confirm it with their parents or grandparents or the people that raised you. Everyone in my family has been like, "Yeah, dude, you were chill."
Well, I got shit like, boy, don't jump off that building. And then I jump off the building. Ow! Dumbass. Like, that was how it went for me. Like,
Learning through dumbass.
did you just tell me not to do something? Fuck you, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like-
Like earlier, you were talking about your wife.
Like
yeah.
my beard. Like, that's 90% of the reason I shaved my beard. Told me I wouldn't do it.
You obstinate son of a bitch.
Yeah, like, Tyler, get off of that horse. It's too big for you. No. Okay. Ow. Told you not to get on it.
Fuck, I'm Christopher Reeves.
Oh, shit.
Oh!
I could have been Superman. Why?
Oh, that's dark.
Oh, that went south real quick, and it was funny, though.
So one of the things I wanted to talk about today was I've been, kind of getting in touch with, movies, and I downloaded Audible. I signed up for Audible.
Awesome.
Because number one, I like to read a lot. I don't have time to read a lot. So while I'm at work,
You can listen to it while you work.
instead of just listening to podcasts or music, now I'm into audiobooks. But I was like, man, I really want one genre of fiction right now. And it's space survival horror. So if I say space survival horror, the first thing that should come to anybody's mind is Alien. That is space survival horror. So the Alien franchise, which we've talked about at length on this podcast,
Oh yeah.
is one of my favorites of all time.
Mhm.
Aliens, even shitty Alien Resurrection. I fuck with it hard.
I think it's hilarious that he skipped Alien 3.
Alien 3 doesn't exist to me. But so
But he fucks with it hard.
I fuck with it hard.
Horde.
The other day, this weekend, not only did I have a Hunger Games movie marathon, but I watched Alien and Aliens. And, it was almost that, surreal, I'm a kid again.
Yeah.
I obviously didn't get the opportunity to see, Star Wars or Alien or Terminator 2 in theaters, but we're in that happy medium generation where
I saw Star Wars in theaters. The original 3.
you did not see Star Wars.
Okay, I saw
in
the special editions.
1977. Okay,
I saw the special editions, but
I did-
I got the experience in a theater though.
right,
That was cool.
but not in 1977.
Oh fuck no. I
That's-
wasn't
That's
alive.
what I'm getting at.
Not even thought of.
Late 70s, early 80s, you had Star Wars in 77. You had Alien right behind it.
Where was Jaws? Jaws was a big one.
Jaws was before Star Wars, I believe.
Is that 76?
Star Wars is 77.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think Jaws was right before it. Anyway, so you had
79 was Friday the 13th.
right. So we had Jurassic Park. Like, that's our generation's Star Wars.
Mhm.
It's obviously not.
Hell
And then we
yeah.
had Titanic. I would say Jurassic Park and Titanic for sure
Huge.
for the 90s.
Huge.
Anyway.
Jurassic Park.
But we didn't get that.
We're going to get to Jurassic Park here in a bit.
Yeah, we better.
You had Jaws, Star Wars, and then Alien, 3 of the most influential movies in history, from special effects, from narrative, from setting, blah 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 blah. Anyway, so I've been trying to get like in touch with all those, like my all-time classics. And I was like, man, I really want to listen to something that's alien, but I don't know. So I just typed in Alien on Audible, and there's an Audible exclusive audiobook series. The first book is Alien Out of the Shadows, and it takes place immediately after Alien. It's got Sigourney Weaver, or not Sigourney Weaver, but it's got Ripley in it. And that the audiobook was about 5 hours long. So I listened to the whole thing consecutively, like chapter after chapter. I just listened to the whole thing straight. But not only was it one of the best science fiction stories that I've ever heard or experienced, it was very true to the source material, even down to the voice acting. The woman that played Sigourney Weaver's Ripley sounded exactly like Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
Could not tell a difference at all. The narrative was fantastic. And when I was done listening to that audiobook, it was like a lot of the narrative podcasts that I've listened to the last year and a half, where there is now a void that I have to fill. And that's why, I watched the most important parts of the Alien franchise this weekend.
Yeah.
But to get to my long-winded point, why don't we have more of that genre?
That's a good question.
Like, especially like for you and I that are big fans of the Alien franchise, and I don't know if you are, Alex.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, you fuck with it?
I fuck with it.
You fuck with
I
it.
fuck
okay?
with it. Maybe not as hard as you.
That's kind of my phrase this week. I fuck with it. But like, I've never understood why, like, Predator is Alien, but the action Predator is Alien meets Terminator.
It really is.
Especially, I mean, even if you completely remove Arnold Schwarzenegger, which, they did with Danny Glover, it's still Alien meets Terminator. You just swap the Terminator and an Alien, and then it's the same movie. Still fantastic. Still super important to us as fans of
I don't
the
know.
genre.
I didn't like Predator 2 very much.
Did you like Predator 2 more than the last Predator movie that came out?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay. So
The Predator, absolutely.
But what
sucked.
What I don't understand is, like, Prometheus and Alien Covenant leave a lot to be desired for a lot of fans.
It leaves a lot to be desired, but for me, it's in a good way because it makes me it stimulates curiosity. Like,
well, and it
where
gives
is
us,
this
especially for you
going?
and I, it gives us something to talk about.
Yes.
To theorize.
There's a lot, like, Ridley Scott is leaving a lot for us to want, like, to talk about, to theorize, and it sparks our curiosity so much. Like, where's he going with this? Where's he going with this?
But what I don't understand, like, it's not just movies or television. Like, that genre as a whole has just never been fleshed out. I mean, as far as cinema, you've got Aliens. That franchise, like, that is it. As far as the, like, video game experience, you had Dead Space. That's about it. I mean, it's very, very limited.
There's weird things going on in chat.
I'm reading.
Andy Ace.
Yeah. We still talking about sex toys?
Let's scroll up so I can read all.
Yeah,
She
wait.
is.
Oh, there's way more up here.
Yeah, Andy says, okay, maybe there's more.
Andy Ace says,
Okay, yeah.
better to flick
Like-
them now than have them be a total shitbag later in life.
Absolutely.
And then he says,
Then he
when you're
says, yeah,
when
go
you're
ahead.
driving, you don't take your hands off the wheel. You make small corrections. How is raising a child any different?
It's not. I really like that.
Then down, he says, we still talking about sex toys? Derek says, "Sex, your studio is sexy, brother." Then he says, "You're sexy, my man. We should touch bellies." "You flatter me too much. I'm just trying to get closer to yours." Josh Curry pops in. "Whoa, I tuned out for 5 minutes and it's getting steamy." Yeah.
Dive in this hot tub, man. It's hot and spicy.
Oh yeah,
Hot
definitely.
and spicy.
Ooh.
Um,
But yeah, I don't. I mean, back to the topic, I don't understand why this genre has never been tapped.
I don't know either.
Like, do you think it's just because people don't want to compete with Alien, or do you think it's people don't want to compete with Ridley Scott and James Cameron? That's the only reason that I can think of. Especially now that Disney is in the process of acquiring this franchise. Like, back on Nerds of the Round Table, when we were talking about the very beginnings of the Disney Fox acquisition, we each brought something around the table, and my question was, where do the Alien and Predator franchises go after Disney acquires these properties? And everyone around the table was just kind of like, and Disney has went on record saying that rated R things that are consistently rated R, they're going to keep rated R. So if Disney makes a Deadpool movie, it's going to be rated R. Like, they are going to keep that, or they're going to keep the precedent that's been set.
They fucking better.
Well, and my thing that I brought up on the Nerds of the Round Table was, if you're Disney, do you keep Ridley Scott around? I think that you can't afford not to keep Ridley Scott around. Ridley Scott as a director is a diva. I think anyone that's a fan of modern cinema can acknowledge that. But that guy has earned his place. Give the guy the money and let him do his thing. You know, you give that guy a budget and he'll give you Titanic.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like Alien. Ridley Scott and Alien were like so important to me like the last week that I couldn't not bring it up on the show.
Josh Curry says, "It's a subgenre that is so closely associated with one franchise. Even Dead Space, which isn't even particularly similar to Alien at all, gets called an Alien knockoff sometimes. It's tough." Then Andy Hayes goes, "How weird is it that Sigourney Weaver, or however that's spelled, used to be hot? The first Alien, bro."
Yeah, so I'm glad that you brought
I've never found her attractive.
There is a few things.
At all.
Sigourney Weaver in Avatar, smoking hot.
Yeah.
I think so.
I've never thought she was
For
attractive.
an older woman, super hot. Sigourney Weaver in Alien, in the very end, when she gets on the Narcissus, the escape shuttle off of the Nostromo, and she's taking her suit off and like being all seductive, or she's taking her before she gets in the hypersleep chamber.
Yeah.
She goes to bend over a console, and there are fucking 8x10 pieces of printer paper that have more ass than Sigourney Weaver in 1978.
She was a giant sex symbol back then.
I know.
I mean,
I
she
have a
was
meme for you.
Alien, Ghostbusters, whatever the hell else she was in after that. I gotta see this.
You're gonna love it.
That's good.
Danzig or Sigourney Weaver.
I don't even need to look at that. I just know better. I just know better. I
But
get
yeah,
it.
like I was like, so I've watched Alien, 1,000 times because it's one of the greatest films of all time,
Yeah, and-
especially of that
sci-fi
generation.
horror.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that fucking scene, I guess I've just never been so fixated on it. Fucking Sigourney Weaver bending over that console with the flattest ass in existence.
I've never been a giant fan of the original Alien. Aliens, however, I've always loved.
Oh yeah.
I've always loved Aliens. I mean, because I guess is that when James Cameron took it over?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's not necessarily sci-fi horror; it's more sci-fi action horror.
Aliens has everything that Alien has, just with a lot more, with Terminator thrown into it.
Okay, yeah.
I mean,
agree.
it's action packed, but it has all of the
and Bill
horror.
Paxton and that other dude from Terminator,
Right. Corporal Hicks.
Corporal Hicks. Game over, man.
Oh my god! I'm
Wow,
done
that
with
was
both of you.
spot on.
That was perfect. I hate you both.
So flat, but somehow hot in those tiny tidy whities.
Oh yeah. I mean, if I was trapped in that shuttle, I'd make use of it. I mean, it was fucking 1978, 1979. You're on a fucking shuttle flying through space.
Just close your eyes and pretend she doesn't look like Danzig.
Nah.
Oh my god.
I would close my eyes and pretend she was Danzig. But she just fought off a fucking hostile alien critter.
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 I mean, you're gonna make the best of the situation.
Let's celebrate.
You're not gonna fuck the cat.
So I'm really
You
glad we
might
brought
not,
up
somebody would.
Yeah.
I'm really glad we brought up Jurassic Park because
Fuck yeah, Jurassic
so
Park.
recently I acquired a new graphics card and I wanted to test out my streaming ability with
Did you
it.
kill a man for it?
Nope.
Okay.
I used a shit ton of Amazon reward points for it though.
That's fair.
Shit ton. I got an RTX 2060, which
That
is
doesn't mean anything to me.
it's the next generation of graphics cards. So I'm pretty future proofed for a while. Is that what you yell when you come? Game over, man.
No, but I'm going to now.
Get
Miranda,
ready, Sky.
Miranda, my wife, has joined the live feed, and is that okay? Is that kosher?
Sometimes it really do be like that, my man. You do.
Anyway, so I
boo-boo.
snagged up this new graphics card, and I wanted to try out. I don't have a lot of PC. I don't PC game hardly at all, but
I
I've
don't
been
game hardly at all.
not as much as I used to. I'm trying. But no, I decided to test out my new graphics card with a little Jurassic World Evolution. I put all the settings on high.
Did you max them all out?
I maxed the fuck out of it, and I streamed it. If you've been paying attention to the Podcastrophe Facebook page, Twitch page, YouTube page, I've been streaming Jurassic World Evolution on it.
No, I did not.
Yeah, she was shoveling snow
Why
while
are
I
you
did
such a
this.
sack? Okay.
First of all, I didn't even know she was home. So
Gender
Oh, okay.
equality.
Well,
if I gotta
then-
shovel snow, you guys should have to shovel snow.
I pay people to shovel my
Oh, I'm
snow.
sure.
anyway,
That's capitalism.
Damn fucking
You got
straight.
fucking gender equality and capitalism all rolled into a big thing called life.
That's right. I own my house, and I don't fucking do a goddamn thing outside. I pay other people to do it.
Fucking talking about.
America.
so I did the stream, and before when I streamed games like Jurassic World Evolution, there'd be like a little lag in the video, and it bugged the hell out of me. But there was zero lag, and I was on ultra settings per se. Not that Jurassic World Evolution isn't a graphically demanding game.
Oh no, it's a barn burner.
I mean, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful game, but it's not graphically demanding, I would say. But no, I was sitting there playing that, and I was going through the Dr. Wu hybrid fucking DLC, where you get introduced to like a few more hybrids besides the Indominus Rex and the Indoraptor, and the first one being the Ankylodontus.
Ankylodontus.
Okay, I say Donkus. I always say Donkus, but it's Docus. And it's what you think it is. It's Diplodocus and Ankylosaurus. That's not very crazy. So it has you make it's like create this, bro.
Okay, hold on.
Create
The rest
this,
of
bro.
your spiel, you have to say it in Nate voice,
I'll try to do that, bro. No, I'm not gonna do that.
bitch.
Wow. So I create it, and then it's like, all right, now create. This is Dr. Wu's voice. I'll do Dr. Wu's voice and Nate's voice because
Okay.
they're very similar almost.
Okay, you just gotta throw in some bros.
All right, bro. So now we got the Ankylodontus. Why don't you just put in these critters?
It does
You
sound
don't
like
know
Nate.
Nate.
We're not
Nate
talking about
Vanderwall.
Nate Phillips. Nate Vanderwall.
Nate Vanderwall.
Too many
Bro.
names.
Bro.
Gotta make the dragon bitch, bro.
So I create all the dinosaurs that he wants me to create. It's all good. Now it's like, all right, bro. Now we need to make a Stegoceratops. And I'm like, oh my god, has science gone too far?
I really
Just far
appreciate
enough.
that when you sent it to me.
So it does that, and you create it, and it's like, all right, observe it for 2 minutes. Okay, cool. 2 minutes goes up, and it's like, all right, this Dr. Wu's like, hey, bro, this Stegoceratops isn't good enough.
Story of my life.
You need to create a Stegoceratops with a defense rating of 110, bro. And it's like, oh, and then one of the other game characters comes in and he's like, did he just say this dinosaur that you just created out of thin air isn't good enough? Wow.
What a dick.
So I create this thing, and I was just like, fuck it. Well, I create it, and what he has you do is he's like, all right, now I'm going to send some dinosaurs in that it's going to fight. It's like, okay. So he sends in a Ceratosaurus. Very low class, I would say.
A plebe of dinosaur.
A plebe of large carnivores. And it gets murdered by another dinosaur that's not even the Stegoceratops. So they're supposed to fight, not that and it just kept getting murdered. So I keep having to restart over, and finally they fight it, and the Stegoceratops just murders it. Okay, cool. It's like, all right, now I'm gonna send a Spinosaurus. I'm like, oh fuck, because you know how badass that thing was in Jurassic Park 3.
Right.
So he sends it in. And I got a ranger fucking right there. I'm manning the ranger because you can heal him. So I'm like I'm pointing that shit right at the Stegoceratops, thinking this Spinosaurus is gonna tear it apart. No, fucking Stegoceratops, pow, 2 hits,
Bam pow.
Done.
bam pow. Then it's like, all right, bro. Now it's time for a Giganotosaurus, which was larger than T-Rex.
Right.
If you know anything about dinosaurs. I know you know some shit.
Carnotaurus is my favorite.
Yeah.
We talked about this on the show before.
I'm not a big fan of the Carnotaurus.
I'm not a big fan of you.
I
But
know.
You're still talking. Go ahead.
Go on.
So I'm like, okay, I really need to be there. The fun part about this is you got to wait for them to confront each other. They don't just immediately confront each other.
Hey.
Like sometimes one lands and it's like, I'm going to go over here. Meanwhile, Stegoceratops is chilling over here.
Eating some grass.
You just got to wait. You got to wait for them to cross paths and like officially
Lock
like,
eyes.
lock eyes.
across
And they
the
do
room.
that. They
They're
do
like,
that.
this motherfucker.
That's exactly what happens. That is exactly what happens.
Where the fuck did you come from?
Hey! So they lock eyes.
What you doing in my waters?
They fight, and I'm on standby thinking the Giga is gonna fucking just knock its ass out. No, same exact shit.
Are you touching yourself during this whole thing?
Oh.
No.
Okay.
So
Proceed.
mission complete. Next mission, Spinoraptor.
Oh.
Spinosaurus and Velociraptor.
Yeah.
Has science gone too far?
That's a beefy boy.
We're gonna see. So I expect like basically the almost same mission where I'm gonna make one and then I'm gonna make something else. So I just immediately beefed it up. I laid out all the stats. I genetically modified the fuck out of this Spinoraptor. I made its like attack super beefy because right from the get go it's like make a Spinoraptor with a general rating of 400. It starts off at like 200. It's actually pretty high, but. Anyway, so I'm like, fuck it. Beef it all out. Ends up being like 6'12". Ultra high.
Big
Okay.
boy.
Big boy.
Beefy boy.
So
Beefy.
immediately it's like, all right, make sure it stays contained. Tranquilize it if necessary, bro. And it's like, okay, cool. I got this. He lands. Or no, he doesn't land. He comes out of the hatchery and it's like, he's like, yeah, I'm Spinoraptor. And they have a comfort level. And once it reaches
Immediately fucking Peg's mad.
once it reaches a certain threshold, then it starts like panicking and it goes to the wall and starts attacking the wall. No. Pops out, looks around, agitated. It doesn't even have a comfort level. It just says comfort level agitated. It doesn't drop. Normally they just drop. And it drops at a certain rate until it reaches a point. No.
You made
Agitated.
you made this fucking like roid rage goddamn dinosaur.
I did. And so I learned some things.
Science
Did you
has
make
gone
me
too far.
if I was a dinosaur?
Would I make you?
No. Did you make me if I was a
Possibly.
Immediately agitated.
Immediately agitated, runs up to a wall, looks at it. As soon as it hits, knocks it out.
Bam pow.
Normally, no, it wasn't even bam pow. It was just like,
Wall
normally,
disintegrates.
like, they have to sit there and attack it for a while, and you can hear it.
Not old
It plays over the
612.
speakers. And it just walks up to it, basically looks at it, and the wall just collapses.
In
And I was
fear.
like, and in my head, I'm like, okay, did I just make him like way too strong, and that's why that happened? Like, does that affect like how long it takes to break down a wall? So he's running rampant,
Killing
and
people.
Dr. Wu's like, whoa, bro. So I send out a helicopter to tranquilize this bitch. Tranquilizers don't work. Dr. Wu's like, hey, bro, tranquilizers aren't going to work, it seems. You might have to use another dinosaur to take it out. And I'm like, fuck. I used all my money breeding this one specific Spinoraptor, and anything I make is too expensive, one. Two, I have to beef it up even more, making it even more expensive just to fight this motherfucker.
And then how are you gonna contain that one if he goes off the rails?
That's no big deal. That's no big deal.
Fucking make an Indominus on credit.
I couldn't. I couldn't make an Indominus.
I'm gonna charge this to the American Express.
So I was forced to basically reload. I had to reload the mission because luckily I saved right before Spinoraptor created. Canceled the one that I already was making upon saving, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna tune this down a bit.
Yeah, you're psychotic dinosaur.
Yeah.
Back this
So
down,
turns
pig.
out same exact parameters. Immediately agitated, immediately bust down the wall. I mean, his attack was way lower. So I'm like, okay, I got this. Andy A says, are we still talking about sex toys?
He says, I might be too drunk, but
No,
we're still talking about
we're
sex
talking
toys?
about Jurassic World Evolution, this amazing game that nobody plays, except for
It's
me.
a solo experience.
It really is. It's a lot of fun. It's really addicting. So same thing, same shit happens. I got to tranquilize it. It's like, oh, hey, tranquilizer doesn't work. You have to use a dinosaur. So luckily, I didn't spend nearly as much money this time. This dinosaur is easily take-outable. I can kill this thing. Okay. So I was, and before while I was waiting for him to hatch, I immediately bred a Giga, and I beefed him up a little bit just in case. Just a smidge. So I'm sitting here like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have this Giga on standby for when this bastard breaks out because I know it's gonna happen. As soon as he breaks out, all right, release the Giga. I then wait another half hour to 45 minutes for them to confront each other because the Spinoraptor just walks back into the cage like
This
nothing.
is my home now.
I also bred him to be like, because you can breed them with social stats, and some dinosaurs have to have a certain threshold. Like you have to have a minimum of this many dinosaurs of the same exact type, like X amount of velociraptors need to be present for them to be content. But if you go over this, like say you need 3 minimum, 7 maximum. If you go over the 7, they're pissed off. If you go below the 3, they're pissed off. You can breed them so that you can only have 1 and they're content. They're cool. So I bred the Spinoraptor the Spinoraptor normally has a minimum of 3. I bred it to have 1. So when it finally went back into its exhibit, its cage, he was chill. But it still said, I still had to fight him. I still had to have something to fight him and take him out. So I'm just sitting there waiting, just waiting on this Giga to finally walk up. They confronted each other 3 times before he finally fucking murdered that Spinoraptor.
Miranda. What do you want to hear about sex toys?
Andy A says, is it really testing that 2080?
Honestly, it's a 2060, and no, it is not. However, the graphics card did come with a free copy of Anthem, so I'll be streaming that soon, whenever that comes out. I think a week and a half. So I'll be streaming Anthem.
I don't know. I'm still probably not going to get it.
I had fun playing. I played the beta a little bit.
I did too, and I did not have fun.
You did not? That's a bummer.
BioWare shouldn't make. I don't like things like that.
Yeah, I had fun.
I got burnt hard on Destiny. I got burnt on Fallout 76.
The gameplay was fun though. I really enjoyed the gameplay. Moving on to a different topic.
I'm playing a battle royale game right now.
Apex. Is that any good? Yeah.
I mean, it's Titanfall without all the jumpy and the robots. So
Jumpy. Anyway, different topic. So I recently learned we've been talking about Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super Broly. So it turns out the voice actor that portrayed Broly has been accused of some allegations or whatever. And
of what type?
I can't like harassment or something. I guess he's a really like I'm a hug you guy, and a fan apparently didn't like that. And so now he's being accused of like groping or some shit just because he hugged somebody. I don't know the exact details, but Funimation has cut ties with him.
Really?
Yeah, immediately after the release of Broly and the success of Broly, and now Funimation is cutting ties with him, and he is just devastated. Has this culture gone too far?
Yeah, but it's at the same. So it's along a lot of the same lines of everything that we've talked about this episode so far. There's the happy medium. You have to respect women enough through. How do I want to phrase it so I don't sound like
I'm gonna look up
a
this
male chauvinist.
While you're talking, I'm gonna look it up.
If someone says, if woman A says I was raped, there's a lot of our culture that immediately goes, well, she's lying. There's a lot of our culture that also says, well, let's fucking nail that guy to the wall. And then there's very few people in the middle that are saying, okay, well, we don't want anybody to be raped, but if she's lying about it, then she needs to be held accountable for trying to ruin someone's life. If that dude raped her, then he needs to be held accountable of it. And then we'll all try and move on. It's very hard to hold that I don't want to say neutral stance, because I think when it comes to sexual abuse or mental abuse or physical abuse or rape or pedophilia or any of that stuff, there isn't really a neutral place, which is very hard because it goes against all the black and white stuff that I like to preach about, not race, or not color, people color, just perspective. But there's enough precedent, especially with athletes, where athletes are sexually assaulting people. There's also enough precedent that women are attacking these male athletes, and there was a football player from Ohio State, I want to say like 8-9 years ago, or I'm sorry, like 20 years ago now at this point, that got convicted of sexual assault. He was accused of raping a girl, and like 2 years before his sentence was up, she came out and said, yeah, I lied about the whole thing. The fucker went to jail.
That makes me want to murder somebody.
Ruined his life for 18 years.
Well,
no retribution against her. She wasn't held accountable.
That pisses me off so much that that happened to him. But what it does is that creates the culture of she's lying. It
absolutely
just perpetuates it, and that's why it's so important for people to not fucking lie about that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's equal for any issue. If you make a bad decision or make a mistake, I think everyone needs to be held accountable equally. What the fuck was that?
Really bad out there, so maybe like our trash can or something.
Damn.
But you know, we all need to be held accountable for our actions. You know, if the boy who cried wolf lies about there being a wolf and then he gets eaten by said wolf, he is being held accountable for his action, in my mind. So I don't know, it's just tough. Because I don't like any environment where you have to walk on pins and needles around anybody. But I think at the same time, you are not doing your due diligence if you don't cover your ass. You know, if Alex was a stranger, I'm also a very huggy person. Love to hug people. I would much rather hug somebody than shake their hand. It's just, I like to hug people.
This story I'm reading, it doesn't really say much.
In today's climate, if I met Alex for the first time and I went in for a hug, I would say, do you mind if I hug you? Is that necessarily right? I don't think so. But
holy shit, Rooster Teeth even.
It's the right thing to do right now, I think.
Right.
This says, so February 5th, okay. Wow, Rooster Teeth, he was on Ruby. I didn't know he was on Ruby. Replaced Vic from Ruby. Rooster Teeth replaced Vic from Ruby on February 5th following sexual harassment and homophobia allegations, as well as anime fans' claims of his unprofessional behavior at conventions. Rooster Teeth published a blog post to announce that it had ended its relationship with the actor. Funimation as well. Fellow voice actors and industry professionals are making similar claims on social media, with a handful of notable figures sharing their own stories about Vic. Voice actor Monica Rial tweeted about her uncomfortable experience with him, prompting other voice actors such as Miles Luna, and Christina V, and Chris Sabat, to offer their condolences and support. Dropping in to say that stop harassing my friends and colleagues. You want the truth? It happened to me. I had hoped it wouldn't come to this, but here we are. I don't owe you anything, but if it'll stop it from happening to someone else, then so be it. This is nuts.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't know. I mean, like 9.9 times out of 10, if somebody is coming out and saying that something like that happened to them, it probably in some way or another did.
Right.
Because that is something, and that's why most people don't come forward, you know, women or men, you know, because it can happen to either. But because you do, immediately people start talking. They start going, oh, well, shouldn't have gotten drunk or blah, blah, blah.
No.
You know, all of
victim
that.
shaming is never a good idea. But at the same time, it's like you can view a very friendly gesture as not friendly, or it can make you uncomfortable. I mean,
exactly, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's...
it doesn't discount anything.
Right.
And
whatsoever.
I think to take that a step further, along the same lines as we all need to be held accountable for our actions, if I did something to Alex that she felt uncomfortable about, it is her responsibility
to
tell me no that I am breaching
absolutely.
some
and not come
space
out
issue, whatever,
and not
she
come
needs
out
to
of the
tell me
woodwork
about it.
8 years later saying, "Oh, he did this to me at a party, and I wasn't cool with it, but you know, I didn't say anything."
I mean, and that's in terms of like something like that's not like rape or something like that. You know, in terms of like somebody pushing personal boundaries.
Well, I mean, as we're sitting here, this whole podcast, if every now and again, you know, I just put my hand on your leg, you might feel uncomfortable about that.
Bro.
You know, but, I mean, you might feel uncomfortable about that. If you didn't say anything to me, and then
don't worry, I'd fucking say something.
But I know you would say something.
But a lot of people wouldn't.
But 6 months down the road, if I run into somebody and they're like, are you the guy that's fucking you know, like, or, hey, did you hear about that Tyler guy fucking feeling all over Alex while they were doing a podcast?
What a fucking cream.
Yeah, like, just say, hey, like, I don't like that. You know, I had a gay friend in high school that, while we would be in class, would be like fucking touching on me, and you know, hugging me all like weird, like. Sorry, I don't like that. You know, I'm okay that you're gay. I just don't want you gay on me.
Well, It's your personal space, and if
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
want somebody in it, then you have every right to tell them. And that's something that always, like at the Neon Cactus, which for those of you that don't know what that is,
It's
it's
a shithole.
shithole bar in town that's huge, and a lot of college students get drunk and dance and yada yada yada. Get really, really, really drunk on really cheap drinks.
Throw
but,
up in the middle of the dance floor. Seen that plenty of times.
Yeah.
Or puke and rally in a trash
in a
can.
trash
my
can like your
little
brother. But anyway, so many times. I mean, I have a lot of friends, girls and guys both, but girls be out on the dance floor and guys dancing, like grinding on them, and they're looking at me like, help. You can tell somebody that it's not okay to
Yeah.
do this. And so I was that person that pushed them aside and said, don't fucking touch her. She doesn't want that. And if they continued, then I said, get the fuck away before I make you fucking get away.
But that's part of the problem, though.
Mm-hmm. Because nobody says anything.
Yes, just say, hey, I'm not cool
Not
with that.
into it. But some people will push it, and then that's when you fucking go, okay, and you push back.
You start fucking snapping, and you get the fucking bouncer over there, and
Mm-hmm.
you get him out.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So
I mean,
but
obviously it's
that's
not
what
that
I told.
simple.
That's what I told all my friends all the time, though, and that's why they always kind of look to me to be like, because they knew I don't give a fuck. I'll do it to this day. I did it back when I was 21. I will forever fucking do it.
Yeah.
If you're not okay with me in your personal space, I expect you to tell me. And likewise, if you're grinding your dick on me and I don't fucking know you, I'm gonna turn around and go, I don't fucking know you. Don't touch me. And then if you
Simple as that.
continue to do it, I'm going to fucking punch you in the face.
Funkin' punch you.
Funkin' punch.
Back to Joe Rogan. Last week, he had some neurologist on there. I can't remember his name right now, but he was really boring podcast in terms of like just
Podcast.
in terms of just how they were talking. But I found what they were talking about very interesting. It was hard to listen to.
Yes.
But
Very,
regardless,
very dry.
you listen to it. Okay. So one of the things they did talk about was the celebrity apocalypse of sexual allegations. And, one of the things they brought up was like, so there's all these allegations getting thrown out, and regardless of if they're true or not, they are ruining careers and ruining lives. I mean, sure, some of them you can be like, okay, yeah, definitely.
Well, we have a thing called due process for a reason.
Oh, yeah, but like that matters. So
Well, in today's climate, it doesn't.
Yeah,
matter.
when
No.
something's out there,
But
I mean, the internet.
we have-
This is the judge and jury right here.
Oh yeah, but so we expect, and one of the things he brought up, the guest, I can't remember his name, it's like Sam,
I can't remember his name.
but Sam something, Samsung.
Samsung.
So one of the things he brought up was we bring to trial murderers and we sentence them, and after X amount of time, or violent offenders, just X amount of time, they are considered rehabilitated and put back into the world. And we are supposed to, as a society, accept them as rehabilitated. They have done their time. They're good, supposedly. Sam Harris. Yeah, thank you. And I mean, yeah, that's not exactly how it goes. We still like look down upon them or whatever. But in a perfect world, like we can say like that, they've done their time. Like that is justice right there. However, flip that around on these people that are getting accused of things. Like look at Louis C.K. Perfect example. He got accused of some shit, and he owned up to it. He said, back then, even back then, like looking back, that was pretty fucked up of me to do. I shouldn't have done that. He apologized. His career is completely ruined.
Oh yeah,
Still,
he's toast.
what like there's no like he didn't get sentenced or anything, but like of all the people, he's the one that handled it perfectly. He's like, you know what? Yeah, it wasn't really considered bad back then, and in the situation we were in, it's whatever. But I shouldn't have done that.
Well, look at the thing with James Gunn too.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah.
along the same lines. I mean, James Gunn's career isn't ruined,
No,
but
his biggest project,
well,
out the
not
door.
just his biggest project, but between him, his cast, Disney, they had a very concrete family unit.
Yeah.
And that family is now a broken home because grandma doesn't like something that grandson said 20 years ago. That was a joke that he apologized for.
Yeah,
It shouldn't be
he
that
said
big
he
of a
said
deal.
some things like roughly around 2005, 2007, and like 2010. He's like, yeah, you guys are seeing this, and I don't really. It was just some tasteless jokes that I made. I'm sorry.
Which we've all done or
Oh,
said
yeah.
something
Absolutely.
tasteless or stupid.
Do you know how many times I've said like quote unquote faggot or retard or the N-word or something back in 2009? Man,
Just
I hope I
young,
never
stupid.
fucking run for office.
I mean, look at
I'm
look at like
fucked.
Paula Deen back forever ago,
Yeah.
and she says, "Yeah, I probably did say that," and then her career's fucked because of something. And I'm not saying
In a
saying
diff-
it
in a
was
com-
right
In a completely different societal environment
in a different
where things were
time,
different.
where she's not going around screaming it now. But I mean,
You can't.
half the people yelling it have probably said it, but they're just. I mean, the biggest thing is like,
Well, you can
Well,
hide behind the computer.
she's racist. I'm not racist. I never said that. I never did it. Yeah.
You can't be
Well,
held
it's easy-
accountable
It's easy
for
to point
things.
fingers when you're hiding behind the computer.
Oh yeah, but you can't be held accountable for things in a different societal environment where things were considered different. Things were considered okay,
Commonplace.
yeah, and commonplace in a different time. Obviously, today, like, yeah, you're not going to feel that
We
way.
evolve and we learn.
And if you do feel that way, then cool, you're a piece of shit.
Or we
Like,
should
we're completely right about how we feel about you. However, in the 70s or 60s, like, racism was rampant. Like, it was
So it's just way of life.
90s. It was rampant. Like,
it's always been.
well, I mean, it's still
Yeah,
pretty
but-
rampant today, but today we're very more against it.
Yeah, we're more progressive.
But you can't. I'm sorry, you just can't hold people accountable for shit they said when it was more commonplace and acceptable. It doesn't make it right, but it doesn't.
They
give you-
shouldn't be crucified.
Oh,
for it.
absolutely not.
Well, and I think along the to kind of couple with that, for a long, I'm a very calloused individual that likes to broadcast that I'm devoid of emotion other than anger, and I don't have the capacity to love, and blah 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 blah. That some of that's true. Some of it is my shield against people. So what little feelings I have left don't get hurt. But for a long time, I've kind of held the stance that if I can hurt your feelings with a word, you are weak.
I agree.
Now, there's caveats to that.
I agree.
If every single day the only thing that you hear me say is you're a piece of shit, you're worthless, you're fucking dumb, that is mental abuse and that is bullying, and that is not the same thing.
I'm gonna get a lawyer for Cameron
That's fine.
every single day.
But-
do better. You're so stupid.
Okay?
Are you fucking autistic?
Oh.
But those are not apples to apples.
No.
If Blaine and I are building a table, and he says, "Hey man, I got the table done," and I walk into the room and look at the table and the legs are on top, and I look at you and say, "What a fucking dumbass! Are you dumb?" and that like crushes you to your core. You have some psychological stuff that you
Oh,
need
yeah.
to work on.
Definitely.
You,
You
as
need a lot of self-reflection.
you as a human being should not be so calloused that nothing anyone says to you affects you. If I say, "Hey man, good job," and that doesn't affect you, you are a golem. You are just a shell. But every little thing that someone says to you should not bother you, and if it does, you need to back it down a little
the
bit.
other end of the fucking spectrum.
Yes.
Dial it down.
Yeah. I mean, it goes along the lines of everything else that we've talked about in the
Balance.
show.
Everything
you
is
have
fucking
to find the
balance.
happy medium.
I talk about balance all the time.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
One of my favorite things to say is the universe requires balance.
Absolutely.
I'm getting a fucking like yin yang tattoo on me and all that. Like
Sometimes it be like that.
everything. It be like that, man.
It really do.
It really do.
balance.
Are we ready to call this?
Well, I mean, I think we should tie this one up in a bow before
Tie
we
it up.
plug.
Tie it up.
Tie it
Tie it up in a bow for us.
It's so frustrating for me, especially there's 18 and 19-year-old kids that I work with that I was kind of taken aback. One of them and I were working pretty much exclusively, just him and I together all day long. So we were getting to know each other, and once I felt comfortable around him, I kind of let responsible dad Tyler kind of take a back seat, and then Red Foreman kind of step in. Because I'm sorry, this is one thing that I struggle with. If you ask me how to do something when I'm not the expert, but I very clearly and concisely explain step by step how to do everything and show you how to do it, and like week 5 you're still asking me how to do the same thing,
Yeah.
I have a problem with that. It's very frustrating for me. I don't struggle learning a lot of things, so that's still hard for me when someone struggles learning something that I've taken every step to show visually, auditorily. I mean, I've done everything in my power. Sometimes it just takes a different person, which we all know that now. But like, he asked me a question, and I said, "Come on, man, you gotta stop being a dumbass." And towards the end of the day, he's like, "Hey, man, can you not say that?" Say what? Well, you called me a dumbass a bunch of times today. And my first response was, "Well, were you being a dumbass today?" And he's like, No, I wasn't. I just wasn't getting it. That doesn't make me a dumbass." And I said, "You know what? Okay, cool.
There you go.
It's not that you stood up to me as the bully. It's you." And a lot of times, I struggle with the phrase man to man a lot, especially with this climate of toxic masculinity.
Oh, fuck that.
Well, there's truth to a lot.
There is, but there's a lot.
Well, it always, just like everything, gets taken too far.
Yes. But I had a lot of respect for him because as an adult, as a responsible human being who's only 19 years old, would you have had that level of a conversation with somebody at 19? I wouldn't have.
That's a mature.
I would have been screaming. I would have been yelling. I would have been posturing.
I would have been internalizing.
Yeah. I mean, because you and I at 19,
Maybe I
I'm
am
sure
a
we're
dumbass.
opposite ends of the spectrum.
Oh, yeah, I was very quiet.
And
I mean,
I
I'm
was the
quiet now,
opposite.
but I'm more outspoken.
I was 11 on the knob. But, I said, "Thanks, man. I still think you were being a dumbass, but I just won't tell you that you're a dumbass. Like, I appreciate you saying, 'Hey, I don't like you saying that.'"
There you go. That's all it takes.
It's okay to
That's all it
state your
takes.
boundaries with
Well,
people.
Some people just don't give a shit. Some people are going to look at the world as having no boundaries anywhere. And that's fine, because like Alex said, it takes balance. We've all heard our grandparents say it takes all kinds, but we don't need to be accepting of everything. We don't need to be critical of everything. We just need to be open-minded, and we need to be vocal. If you want political change, open your fucking mouth. If you want societal change, open your fucking mouth. If you want change in your home, number one, look at yourself and how you can make things better, but open your fucking mouth and do your part. Everyone has a voice, whether you think you do or not. Everyone has a voice. And if you think a way, someone else thinks that same way too. That's my bow.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. All right, Alex, thank you for joining.
Thanks for having me.
It's always great to have you
Fellas.
on.
Bro.
You're our favorite gal.
Tyler,
Aw.
I'm glad to have you back this week. Last week we had just a Matt episode. This week we have just a Tyler episode. It's good stuff. And I hear there's talk about a sports podcast.
Matt and I are talking about doing a sports show because we like to
Sweet.
do sports and you don't know how to sports.
And I feel like this stemmed from you listening to
Yes.
last week's episode between Miranda and him talking about the Super Bowl. Right on. I'm down for it.
My best friend and I are starting a podcast later.
No
this year.
shit?
Fucking yee. Jump on this network.
That's right.
Do it. I'm sure Pod Daddy Nate will jump all over that.
We are friends on Facebook. Yeah.
Hell
we
yeah.
love that, so.
All right, let's go ahead and start the plugs. For those who have been watching, like Andy Ace and Josh Curry.
I want to take a minute or just a second here to shout out Andy Ace, and Josh Curry, two complete strangers, complete and total strangers to us, jumping into our stream, having a kick-ass time with us.
Oh yeah,
having good conversation,
and they've stuck through for 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
This is a 2-hour podcast. I mean, yeah, we've ran way longer, but you know that's a long time.
For strangers, yeah.
For strangers to just sit here and stick. Kudos to you guys.
Yeah,
we
thank
really
you very
appreciate
much.
it.
You're the fucking real MVPs.
With that being said, guys listening, gals,
peoples,
my mom, if she's
our new stranger friends. Check us out live every Tuesday on the Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube pages for podcast.
On the Facebook.
Whatever.
Get on that there Facebook.
Get on that there Facebook. Podcastrophe every Tuesday right around 5:30 or 6 p.m. Indiana time, whatever that time zone is.
Eastern
time. Yeah.
Eastern time. You can check us out live. If you're not gonna check us out live, subscribe to us on Podbean or iTunes, and on Podbean on Podbean or iTunes, subscribe to Podcastrophe, and you'll get us every Thursday, plus any extra content that we do, such as Happy Fun Metal Time with Nick and Dick. And then coming this April, we'll also have the Game of Thrones season 7. No, it's season 8. Yeah, it's season 8. The final season. We're doing a standalone series where we weekly go over each new episode until the series is done.
Matt and I are talking about doing a sports show.
Matt and Tyler are talking about doing a sports show, so you'll get that too.
Yeah, Tyler, you also talked about doing an extra thing with me, but then we never talked about it again.
I've been trying to refine that idea.
Okay.
So once it gets not polar vortex outside, we'll revisit that.
Yeah, love it.
If you're not already, we are part of a network of podcasts called the Journey into Comics Network. You can subscribe to them on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, all the podcasting services, Journey into Comics Network. And you get shows like Journey into Comics, Journey into Wrestling, Poor 360, Kids for Sale, Voice of Survival, Adulting Ain't Easy, Dungeons and Dudes, Brews with Dudes, us, Podcastrophe, Crucial Tunes. I think that's it. Foodies Watching Movies.
I was going to say Foodies Watching Movies.
You get all those shows all on one feed, including our show. But if you want exclusive content, subscribe directly to us.
And if you liked what you heard and or viewed today, leave us a review on iTunes.
Yeah, please do.
It'll really help us.
Or if you want to directly support the network, the Journey into Comics Network has a Patreon, and you get early access to all of the shows as soon as they are done being edited and uploaded. So
for $1 a month.
For just $1. And then you also get extra content there as well for, I think, $3 a month. Something around there. Either way, if you want to support us, we have a Patreon. Hit it up. We're hoping to have some T-shirts and stickers and stuff soon. So keep an eye out. It'll be there.
We doing big things up in here.
Again, big shout out to Andy Ace and Josh Curry. Please join us again next week. Andy says, "You guys rock. Love what you're doing, and I'll join in anytime I can."
Hell yeah.
That'd be pretty cool because we're starting to get into Skype and stuff and Skyping people in. So that'd be a lot of fun. We'll gladly have you on anytime.
Awesome.
So, with that being said, that is all that we've got. I've been Dick.
Alex. I'm like, am I just supposed to say my
That's
name?
challenged, Alex.
Yeah.
Challenged,
At
Alex.
this point, I feel pretty challenged.
I'm Sleepy Boy Tyler.
And I'm Dick.
And you're Dick.
And please make every day a big Dick day. Bye, guys.